What does music mean to me? I think that, we talk about this all the time in the band. Just, we're all musicians. Even Hesser's been playing keys with me on this tour. But anybody that's in my band, when I have a full band, everybody's their own musician, their own artist, they have their own music. Everybody in my band, at least the way I feel about it, is incredible on their own. And we just take turns supporting each other. But especially now with everything kind of accelerating into super reality in our faces this past week or two, you kind of take stock and go, well, what's most important? That sort of thing. The thing about music is, for me, I love doing it, of course, but it wasn't really a choice. If that makes sense. Like I didn't one day say, oh, I probably would like to do music. It just was something that I was always compelled to do. When I was 5, I was sitting at the piano, like writing songs. Like my mom has old recordings of me just plucking out, figuring out chords and notes, and it just was something I always liked, for better or for worse. Sometimes I feel like I wish that I was dedicating more of my life to bettering like humanity or helping people like in other ways. So it feels like a selfish pursuit sometimes, but there's no stopping it at this point. It's just same with Jesse too. It's just what we do. There's no choice. No matter. Yeah.
But don't you think that's actually one of the things that music does in this world?
Yes.
Like it helps people be real, feel, like properly feel without the masks.
I've had many times where I've probably almost every other show where we sit back and go, I can't do this anymore, I'm terrible, I'm not good at this. Or you record a song and it comes out bad and you go, oh, I'm just terrible, I'm the worst. But it only really takes one person to come to your show and say, I love that line you have in this one song. Or this, I had a bad relationship and a breakup, and this one album of yours kind of got me through it. I drove across country listening to it the whole time. That one person is like filling an arena, because that can fuel you for another year. It really takes that real. It's one thing sitting in front of a bunch of people yelling, "You're great, you're great, you're great," but because they're all there to see you. But if one person says something like that specifically, it gets you through a long period of time. Yeah.
What are some of because I can imagine when you're creating music, what are some of the most memorable lyrics, I guess, for you?
You mean of my own?
Yes.
Well, that's a tricky question because you don't like to quote yourself.
I'm sorry, I'm being difficult.
No, I don't. I'm not trying to be difficult about the answer. I think I'm always. A lot of times I write a song. I'm not a person who ever wrote songs with a specific idea in mind, and then I chose the words that best told that story. For me, it's more usually a mood that I'm in, and then a turn of phrase that just magically comes out that I'm not thinking about, and then that tells me what the story is. And sometimes I don't know what that story is until it's done. And then I look back and go, oh wow, I can't believe I wrote that. Like it's so profound to me in what I know I'm going through. Looking back at it. The last record I made had a lot more about a relationship that I was in than I realized when I was writing it. Because I didn't sit back and go, oh, I'm going to write a song about my relationship. I don't think I've ever done that. But listening to the record now, or listening to a lot of the songs, I realized how much it was a part of everything I was doing. So it's like self-therapy in a way. Yeah.
I think that's probably where the power of like real music comes out, because it's like that therapy goes in there, but it's those raw emotions, and I think the audience relates to that. They pick it up on like a level that's much deeper than the normal standard communication.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I've learned my lesson about that many times, where there's some songs that I have written that I've been super, super proud of, sonically or, rhythmically or whatever, that over time didn't maybe connect with people in the way that lesser songs did. Like I have some songs that I felt I didn't do a good job with it, but at the end of the day, the lyric and the emotion of the song connected with them, and it's taken me a long time to get there, and I'm still learning, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what a song sounds like, or how good it was, how well it was recorded, where it was recorded, who plays on it. The only thing, like you just said, the only thing people care about is how does this make me feel, and is it relatable to my life in some way. And if you can find a way to do that without doing the usual, I love you, you love me, then you've done well.
So don't you think that, with that in mind, with what you just said, right? Don't you think you're actually giving people one of the biggest gifts that there is in the world?
Yeah, I guess I'd have a hard time saying gift, and I do really appreciate it. And not just for me, I just mean as a musician, but there's the same thing with a painter or somebody maybe that produces a ballet or a musical or a Broadway show or a movie. So art in general it's a gift for us to be able to experience it, right? It's unique to the human experience. Pets don't get to experience it, right? So yeah, and that being the case, art is a gift. It distracts us from everything that's going on. Even now, I mean, we're just driving here in the van. Everything's so doom and gloom with the news. But a good song can come on for a second, and just for a second, you're kind of like doing this, and you have that moment where you kind of it wipes out. Your stomach you're not stressed out anymore, and you just have that moment where you get lost in the song. And so that is a magic thing.
Yeah. Well, I probably should have explained in the beginning, but like the type of interviews that I do, I try and kind of explore who the real artist is behind it. Mm-hmm. So that's why I might ask some strange questions.
There's no strange questions.
But I find music fascinating, and I want to see if in an interview we can actually get that same vibe out there, so that the fans who watch the interview can actually get to see, oh yeah, that's
a little understanding. I'm thinking hard. Do you remember a couple years back, maybe a few years back, Ben Affleck did an interview because he was in a Batman movie, right? He was Batman versus Superman. Mm-hmm. I didn't see it, but it was something. And he was sitting next to his co-star who was speaking about, they were just being asked different routine questions, but while the other actor was speaking, he was just sort of sitting like this for a second, staring off into space. And people took that little clip and chopped it, the modern world, they chopped it up, put different music behind it, and made it look like he was so sad about his movie. And so sometimes when you're asking a question, I'm trying to think, well, don't just think off into space. Really be happy about what you're thinking in your head.
Yeah, or do, just be, it's about...
Or there's going to be a Simon and Garfunkel track behind my face.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like, don't worry about that, get immersed into what we're doing. So maybe I need to find like a really tough question that will immerse you in it. Well, here's one. If you had to tell me a question to ask to find out who you are, like in your soul, as a human being, what question would I need to ask?
I mean, that is a good question. Well, it's not actually a question yet until I feed you the question. I can tell you what the question wouldn't be. Let's start there.
Okay.
I think that, like, a question of, hey, who are some of your favorite artists? What's your favorite influence? Or who influenced this and that? Those questions aren't always that great because it gives you an idea of what the person likes, but it doesn't really say. For artists, you don't always want to say, oh, I like this artist and that artist, because then people are going to be thinking, oh, they're copying this, or they were directly inspired because of this, not maybe doing their own thing. For me, I always want I guess I look at it like a painting. I look at for my songs as a painting. And if I'm able to write a song that has a lyric and is musically, melodically catchy, sonically, then that's all great. But a lot of pop songs are that, right? A ton of pop songs are that. My goal is to always take it one more level. And I'm not saying everybody even likes this because I can't assume that everyone's going to like your music because they don't. Like for every person that likes me or that likes Coldplay or that likes Prince, there's two people who don't like it.
Yeah.
It's just the way the world works. But I always want my songs to be great on the surface, but have that one extra level, and you kind of touched upon it before, that one extra level of, well, I don't know why, but I really feel good because of this, or I feel really contemplative because of this, or I feel calm because of this, or it's making me angry.
Yeah.
Like, in a way that's exercising a demon that I have.
Yes.
Because of something that was said. Like those are the things I really want to get.
Yeah.
And I've had songs that I thought were great songs, just as they are, but that didn't maybe for whatever reason, it just didn't have that little magic dust.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the very end, just that magic dust.
Yeah.
That is, you can't really pinpoint it because it's not about the melody or the word. It's about the whole combination of the package.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe my question that I would feed you is like, what are you striving for when you're making music? Like, what is your goal?
Yeah.
Because we all want to play Madison Square Garden or the O2 Arena and all that, but it's also just lucky that we're playing music anywhere.
Yeah.
And here, it's a very privileged thing to be able to do, especially, not that we're making a great living, but especially to get paid and do this, we know that it's lucky, fortunately. Yeah.
How long have you been doing this? How long have you?
Long time. I mean, professionally, I've probably been doing it since I was just getting out of high school. But I've probably been doing this for, over 25, 30 years. Just still hanging in there.
How does it evolve, like your musical life? Because I'm sure that, like in life in general, you evolve, right, as a human being. So how does your musical being, again with that magical touch in mind, how does that evolve throughout the years?
I don't think it has to do with the musician side of me. I think it has to do with the person side of me.
Yeah.
Do you write my life experiences? People who I've disappointed, people who I've been there for or done, like personal achievements or sadnesses that I've experienced or euphoric moments. That's really, if you're able to stick with this long enough, you're going to be a better songwriter anyway. It's doing anything. If I were laying floors every day, I would be a good floor layer.
Yeah.
But as a songwriter, if you're just doing it for so long, you will be better. But the stuff that you can't control is what life happens. The life that happens to you.
Yes.
And to me, that is where the gold dust comes in, right? Because I'm going to be better at guitar. I'm going to be better at piano. I'm going to be better at writing, hopefully. But it's the other stuff that makes it special.
Yeah.
If you can bring that experience, your unique experience, even if it's slightly unique, into your music, that's what people I think are looking for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the reason why I got into interviewing. You know The Cure?
Of course.
Yes. So, to me, they were able to capture emotion in music, like in a very strong way. And when I saw interviews being done and Robert being asked about lipstick and hair, I know, yes. I kind of got frustrated because I wanted to understand the human being behind it. And I guess to hear you say that, I can recognize what I heard yesterday. To see that little magic dust
Well, that's good.
placed on the word.
That's good. I've had times where, again, just because I've been doing this so long, where I've met musicians and artists and heroes of mine, like when I was a kid, that I loved. And people always ask, what did you ask them? What did you talk to them about? I'd say 4 to 5 times my response is I didn't talk to them. At least not in a real way, because I don't want to have a conversation with my heroes just to tell them how great they are or how much their music meant to me, right? Because that happens to them every day, a million times a day.
Yeah.
I want to know more of this, or I want to know like what's your favorite pasta? You know, what do you drink wine, or do you like sport? The non-musical stuff, because that stuff will come with your understanding of the person.
Yeah.
But to just sit with somebody and say, hey, I love you, it's amazing, you're great. Like, I'm not gonna get anywhere with that human, and I won't walk away thinking anything of them.
Yeah.
And without naming names, I've had a couple people in my life that were like that I grew up loving, and I was exposed to sort of a few times. And I didn't ever come out and say, you're great, or what were you thinking when you made this record, or that. I just laid back and tried to let an organic friendship in some way happen so that we talk to each other as peers, just as like two humans who make music.
Yes.
Then the door can open to just share your love of music, and it's a different experience. Because once you establish with somebody that you're just a fan, it's going to be difficult for an organic friendship to happen.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm so fearful of not being able to have something real with somebody that I'd prefer to not talk to them instead, even if they're my hero.
Yeah, it's quite amazing. So do you think that there's, actually, again, probably a difficult question, but do you think there's still enough realness in the world?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. I really do.
Yeah.
I just think that I think there's some of the best music in the history of music being made right now. I really feel that. But we don't attach the same romanticism to it that we used to. Of course, we're older, so when you're kids, the music they're listening to now, I'm sure they will have a romanticism about it. We could argue that it's a little too electronic or a little too produced. You could, at the end, it's still how it makes you feel, right? We could debate, well, Led Zeppelin played real guitars and this. Okay, but either feel it or you don't. There's a lot of bands that have guitars, drums, and bass that are terrible.
Yeah.
So that doesn't define what makes music great. But we're also bombarded, because you could just make a record in your bedroom now for nothing. Before it was having a record and making a record took a lifetime. I mean, you had to get lucky, get into a studio, and spend a lot of money or get a record deal. And then if you wanted that record, you had to buy it and go to the store. Like the whole experience, you earned everything. But now you just click a button and you can both record and listen to it without a cost to you whatsoever. So that means I don't think there's any lesser music being made. I just think that connection, the worth that we place on music isn't what it used to be.